Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Welcome to the Just Chatting Gaming News and Trailers for August 18th. We actually have more news than trailers, even though some of the news is pretty short. We got an update on the KOTOR remake. We got some sales info for Elden Ring and Cult of the Lamb. And we got a couple of trailers that I am very much looking forward to watching. So let's go ahead and start this out with sort of the big news of the day. So, as you may or may not know, there's a couple of big companies out there that actually own a lot of gaming studios and other businesses. So, one of them is called Embracer Group. And apparently, Embracer Group decided to go on a spending spree last night. Obviously, I'm kidding, because this takes like months to put together. But they went on a spending spree last night, and they decided to buy multiple companies. A few of them include Limited Run Games, Tripwire Interactive, like the Killing Floor devs, Tuxedo Labs, which is the Teardown series, a company called String Tricks, which is a vocal processing tech, among other stuff. And also as part of that, and you can see like they released like this giant statement if anybody wants to actually like go through and like read all this madness. They also did some moving around of things. So as you may or may not know, Asper is part of the Embracer Group, and Asper is the company that has been doing a lot of the Star Wars ports over the last couple of years. And they are also the company that is doing the KOTOR remake. As you may or may not know, the KOTOR remake is currently on indefinite hold because Asper has been having all kinds of problems. Buried in this document, there is a line in there where Embracer says that they are taking a game away from one company and giving it to another company. And the insiders out there are basically saying that that is indeed the KOTOR remake. And it looks like it is getting shifted over to a company that has a bit more experience with this sort of thing. So, at this point, we're just kind of waiting for the confirmation of that to actually happen, but at this point, it's pretty much already confirmed. So, this game is still, like, many, 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 many years out. So, it's pretty crazy. Next up, it's been announced that Elden Ring has sold just under 17 million copies in 6 months, showing you just how good that game is. And people love From Software, and they like their Souls games. So, very impressive numbers for Elden Ring. Also impressive, but on a different scale, the small little indie developer from Cult of the Lamb, they have sold 1 million copies of that game. And funny enough, you know, when we're talking about Game of the Year contention, it's always hard to say, but it looks like we could see a Cult of the Lamb versus Elden Ring versus potentially God of War. But I do think that Cult of the Lamb is going to be in Game of the Year contention this year because it is that good. Still got to stream it for you guys. Next up, Gotham Knights has officially gone gold, essentially meaning the game is done and they are now printing the discs. So it's pretty impressive that it's gone gold like 2 months out. That normally doesn't happen. So hopefully they're just working on the big day one patch and really just doing a lot of extra polish that they can add in day one, and we'll have a hopefully really good, you know, Batman Arkham style game. So that's pretty cool. Final news story. Hey, every single day that we do this show, there's another game getting delayed, and that trend continues. High on Life has been delayed until December 13th, 2022. For those who don't know, during E3 or Summer Game Fest, do you guys remember that really weird game where all of the guns had, like, faces? And the guns would, like, talk to you and stuff? That's this game. So, we'll see if it's any good, and we'll see if it actually hits that December 13th launch date for them. Yeah, pretty cool. Trying to remember if that game's actually coming to Game Pass. But yeah, it's a very weird game. Very weird. All right, we only have 3 trailers, but 2 of them are trailers for games that I really, really want to see. I've heard some people talking about our first trailer on Twitter today. I don't really know anything about it. This is the launch date trailer for Beacon Pines. I don't know if we've seen this one. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's like, did we see this at Summer Game Fest? I certainly don't remember it.
No, that's not how this is supposed to end. There has to be another way. We just need to find it. Welcome to Beacon Pines. A place where things don't always go as expected.
They just threw away a dead body.
But it's okay. We can figure this out. Together.
Yeah, kind of an unusual game.
I don't yet know how this story ends. But I do know one thing.
It's like...
This is a story about change.
It's like Stardew, but with no farming. Just all the, like, city stuff. And it's coming out in September on Game Pass. So there you go. All right, next up. Very excited for this one. This is a gameplay overview trailer for the sequel to a game that I just recently played and beat for the first time here on the channel. Let's take a look at this.
Stay here and patrol. Report if you see one bloody rat.
I knew it. I knew it. All right. Move, quick.
Far across the sea, an island calls.
Nothing ever stays nice. It always turns bad.
Things aren't always nice. You can change them.
How?
The way we always do. We fight.
How far will you go to save the ones you love? A Plague Tale Requiem picks up a few months after the end of Innocence, right around the first days of summer. Amicia and Hugo are headed south, along with their mother Beatrice and the young alchemist Lucas, reaching places still spared by the devouring plague, the raging wars, and the rabid rats that are running rampant in the north.
So a quick question from chat. The first game is called A Plague Tale Innocent. So yeah, this is the sequel.
Is that a fair?
Beneath the warm sun of 14th century Provence, the de Runes are almost able to enjoy a normal life.
You're great! Yeah!
But for a recurrent dream that Hugo has been having of a mysterious island that calls him.
These look like teeth. It's a two-teeth island.
How come nobody noticed their disappearance?
Maybe nobody cares.
Maybe.
One day, the macular illness that's been dormant inside Hugo awakens, and the dreaded living nightmare begins again. In the wake, Amicia finds herself with no other choice but to trust her brother's dreams and head further south towards the elusive island before he's consumed by the terrible macula affliction.
The bite, yes. They've locked the arena down. They let them die here.
It's starting all over again.
Her mind is made up. She will find a cure in what dreams and prophecy may hold.
Get used to it.
With almost no one they can trust,
This is your life now.
Amicia and Hugo must traverse land and water as restless forces stand against them.
Alicia, you all right?
After the events of last winter, Amicia is hardened, experienced, and when backed against the wall, can be surprisingly resourceful. With several new tricks up her sleeve, she is now able to freely choose between striking from the shadows or unleashing hell with a variety of equipment and tools.
That looks really good. They're bringing back the sling.
Hugo wants more than ever to help his big sister and not hinder their progress.
We need to leave or we'll doom everything.
The macula within him is a double-edged sword that has deepened his connection with the rats.
The rats. They can feel people's blood. Now I can too.
This is kind of a spoiler for the
This
first game.
powerful ability can decimate entire squads of soldiers, but takes a severe toll on Hugo every time he uses it.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Thankfully, their journey brings not only hardship, but also unexpected friends. These colorful characters help the Daroons carry their terrible burden,
It's not my first time.
while offering unique skills and resources to bring them closer to their elusive goal.
Move as soon as he's gone. It never lost. Got it.
For Amicia and Hugo, the road ahead will test the limits of what they can endure on all levels, and just how far they're willing to go. Reaching the island is only the first step to truly understanding the terrible affliction that's stricken their family. As the lines between reality, fantasy, and fate dissolve, keeping it together and finding the cure to save Hugo will be nothing short of a miracle. But Amicia has hope, and hope is the last thing lost.
Others are burned in it. If you kill, be ready to be killed.
A Plague Tale Requiem releases October 18th on Xbox Series.
It's also on Game Pass. Yeah, that was a really good trailer. What I really like about this is in the first game, it was pretty much just Amicia and Hugo, and then you would pick up other characters, and they were generally teenagers. You had the mom character, and then there was one other adult character that I can remember that just like briefly helped you, but it was like 95% just the kids. And so this looks much more like a true medieval adventure where you're talking with like a ton of people, and you're like in that scene right there, you're talking with like a night guy or whatever. And the first game didn't have like any of that. This seems like it's much more of a broader scale. It's like there's a scene back in there. It's like they're on a boat and there's a lot more like moving around. I think the first game was in a pretty contained area. It's like you had like a town and maybe a couple castles, but it was all within an area, like a land, so to speak, like their land. But yeah, this seems really cool. Like, I was definitely ready to play this game, but this trailer, like, set my hype level way, way up. Yeah, looks great. Yeah, I'm a little bit... I have a feeling like... And maybe the story is going to explain this, but it seems like there's something happening with Hugo's powers. Because at the end of the first game, he essentially... He was cured. Like, he wasn't, like, dying. And all the scarring went away. And then he still had full control or command of the rats. And it even got to the point where, like, he wasn't even directly controlling them. And the two characters could just walk through them with zero problems. So, from what this trailer said, there's something going on again. So, they'll have to explain it. But, yeah, that looks great. Absolutely great. Final trailer. This is another game we saw for the first time at E3 like 2 or 3 years ago. And every once in a while, they'll release a new trailer. And I believe this is just the trailer announcing that it's coming to Game Pass, which is great. But there's something about this game that's just like resonating with me. I think this game looks so cool. So, here we go. It's like, I want to know more about this world. Okay, none of that was new footage. I've seen all that footage before. So if that looked interesting to you, I would invite you to go out and check out the actual trailers for that game. The first couple, 2-3 trailers that they released for that game are really, really good. That one didn't really do much. But anyway, that's gonna do it for gaming news and trailers. For those on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.